Interior Architecture faculty here at the department. And thank you for coming to a Spring Lecture Series sponsored by the Department of Architecture. I'm so delighted and honored to introduce our distinguished guest, Paula Stafford, to you. And Paula Stafford serves as the Executive Vice President, Principal of the firm Brand Design and Communication Effort in Coliseum Architecture, headquartered in Seattle, which is specialized in retail, hospitality, corporate, healthcare, and mixed-use destinations. Paula serves as a leader in Coliseum's retail practice. I hope you take this great opportunity to learn about this great field of branded environmental design, which is truly an exciting and multidisciplinary professions. Paula will also share her professional experiences and the design trends in the international commercial design market. Before we start, let me take care of some housekeeping item first. This lecture offers an AIA continuing education credit for AIA members, and there is a sign-up sheet available in the front of the table. So please sign in for your AIA continuing education credit. Second, if you have a cell phone, please take a moment to turn off your cell phone or to change it to the vibrant mode. And I met Paula at the 2010 Display and Design Ideas Magazine Forum in Santa Rosa, California, where renowned retailers, marketers, architects, and designers share innovative ideas in store design and merchandising. I was truly impressed by the interdisciplinary collaboration and supportive atmosphere among experts in different disciplines. What I noticed at the meeting was that decision makers and marketers pay attention to design or creative thinking as a core value of innovation in retailing. In the forum, I was overwhelmed because the forum was full of stars and design celebrities like Paula and top management executives in the retail business. At the time, I wish that I could invite a famous designer like Paula to our campus to introduce this wonderful, exciting profession to our students. Paula so generously accepted my invitation despite of her busy schedules that I cannot imagine how she possibly managed her schedule. When I contacted her, she was always in different locations in all over the world, like Europe and China. And tonight, she also flew in from Philadelphia, and she got up last midnight. Right. So her design experience includes retail marketing analysis and design solutions for international department stores, specialty stores, and visual merchandising. She's an expert in the creation of new brands as well as repositioning existing brands and helping them maintain relevance to their customers in a changing marketplace. Her clients include Nike, Singular, Cascade Health Services, Seibu Department Store of Japan, Harvey Nicole, and Paris Shoe Sources, A&T, just named a few. Paula received her education from the University of Florida, cum laude with a bachelor's degree in interior design, and Paula also served on the editorial advisory board for this Display and Design Ideas magazine. And she was named the top 20 retail design influencers by DEI magazine in 2006 and 2007. And please join me to welcome Ms. Paula Stafford.
Thank you. Well, thanks for having me, and I really do apologize for coming on such a pretty day. I actually got here this afternoon and enjoyed the campus. I'm sure it's always like this. It's like a big carnival. I mean, everybody's like on the grass enjoying the day. It's truly beautiful. So I'll try not to keep you too long. We actually edited some slides a bit so that we don't, keep you over. But I am excited to be here. I was talking to Linda. I think the last time I was here was probably like 7 or 8 years ago. It's been quite a while. But I always love coming here. So I have kind of an unusual presentation today. I'm not really showing you any of our work. Maybe a few snippets in there, but I'm not really talking about our work today. There's been some kind of things probably rattling around my mind lately, especially as a result of some of the work that we're seeing around the world and some of the things that are happening in the economy. some of the trends that we're seeing. So I really kind of put together kind of a unusual mix of things just because it was top of mind and, you know, moving toward graduation. And anyway, I hope I didn't offend anybody with the topic. But it kind of plays to, I think, how our practice has grown, and it certainly plays to how I think. And I think, I always feel like even though we're one of the largest architectural firms in the world and we have a very diverse practice, I feel like still architecture and interior design are one of the things that we do. And I think we're really more about creating destinations and creating really strong brands, and you know, creating business solutions for our clients. And so really, a lot of times it's about the spaces between, it's about the customers, it's about the users. It's a whole different conversation. And the buildings, again, the buildings are one of the things that we do. And I think that mindset has been important to our firm. It's been important to me, kind of in the evolution of how I think about design and conceive of design, and how we work with our clients. So I really wanted to kind of share a little bit of thinking about kind of how my mindset evolved, how our approach to our business evolved. So let's just kind of start there for a minute. You know, I want to talk about influences. I want to talk about you know, trends, what's going on culturally, what's going on in the world that influences. And the reason I wanted to do this is because I feel like when you're a student, and I think back now to when I was a student a very long time ago, but you're really focusing, there's a lot to learn in a very short period of time, and so you're focused more on your toolbox and your skill sets. And so there's a whole lot of other influences as designers and as creative individuals that come from our environment, that come from, you know, a lot of different sources. So, you know, I really wanted to talk about that. My background, I'm just going to take a minute. I went to the University of Florida. I graduated from there in the late 70s. And the timing was actually not so very different from what you're about to go through in terms of coming out of, I like to think we're coming out of a recession. Maybe I'm overly optimistic. I'm always optimistic. But, you know, I graduated at a time where the economy was very slow. And I knew I had pretty good ideas about what I wanted to do. And I had selected a firm. Went to Atlanta after graduation and interviewed with a firm, and my firm of choice. And they didn't have as much work. They weren't as busy. And so basically the conversation we had is, we'd love to have you, but we just don't have the work. So, you know, it may take us 6 months, it may take us a year to get you on, but, you know, if you'll be patient, we'll get you on. So basically, the moral to the story is I took a fork in the road. I knew that what I wanted to do, but so I ended up taking a job with a retailer. I ended up staying with that retailer. It was a chain of retail stores for a couple of years. And I was, you know, a young, you know, 20-something. It gave me an opportunity to travel. I looked at real estate. I really learned the business. I learned distribution. I learned merchandising. And I discovered a passion for retail. So so it was really a diversion. I did it for a few years, and then I got the phone call I've been waiting for. And so this firm of choice said, we've got the work, come on board. I went on board, did all kinds of work. I did hospitals, I did convention centers, I did arenas, I did corporate, you know, headquarters. I did every kind of work you can imagine in the kind of the corporate world, and enjoyed it. But at some point, I still kept, you know, remembering this passion that kind of came out of the love of retail, the creative kind of opportunities that were, I thought, more restrictive in other areas. And so that love was born. So I guess the moral to the story is, don't be afraid of a diversion. You know, you may not get the first position that you want. It may not be the ideal position, but make the most of whatever opportunities come your way. And you know, who knows? It may be change your course forever, which in my case it did. A little bit about the firm, Callison. We've got 11 offices. We are a global practice. We have probably 2 main practice areas: commercial, which includes everything from healthcare, corporate towers, mixed use, hospitality, and then the other major sector, which I serve on the board, so I actually am part of the management of the firm. But then I also run the practice area called retail, which is again a global practice. It's all over the world. And people always think when you say retail, they think that it's about retail stores, and that's what, you know, we do. And certainly we do retail department stores, and we do specialty shops, and we work with some of the major brands in the world, and we open stores all over the world. But I always have to kind of explain. It really is more, again, a mindset. I think a retail approach applies to anything, any kind of design, anywhere. If you've got a headquarters that wants to build pride in their brand or to build a better environment for their employees, that's the mindset. It's about focused on the user, focused on building strong brands and strong experiences and destinations. So that's what it's all about. So again, it can apply to anything. So don't get turned. I know that probably this program is not so very focused on retail. So broaden your perspective on retail. We also, one of the pieces I'm going to start with is we really are about creating destinations, and that's not what a lot of firms, or a lot of our competitors are about. They're really more about the buildings. I won't say that we don't do beautiful buildings, because I think we do, but I think that, again, the approach to the spaces in between, what the users experience. Are you creating communities? Are you creating neighborhoods? And I actually think that we have challenges today, and one of the exercises I want to go through is to take you through some of the great shopping streets, some of the great high streets of the world. I travel a great deal. I see a lot of things. I find that what I see informs my thinking every day. And there's some concerns I have about what's great and what the challenges are. So we're just going to talk about some of the great shopping spaces, and they're not just shopping spaces; they're really community centers. It just so happens that a lot of times shopping is a critical component, and I'll even show you some examples of where it wasn't addressed. So again, we're going to go through these real fast. I'm not going to even talk about all of them, but I just want you to get a sense of there are a lot of the ones I'm going to show you are historic, built master plans, city centers. There have been some kind of recent developments where they really achieved, in a built at one time, not evolved over time, great places or great destinations. This is in Birmingham, England. Of course, you remember this from the millennium. So again, I'm just going to go through great, Madison and Fifth Avenues, destination in New York. And a big part of that experience on those high streets is the fact that you've got these international brands that are building significant design solutions and brand statements that really animate the street. And there's a whole different kind of attitude about retail now and what its responsibility is to the street. And it's theater, and it's really creating events on our streets, which really help these cities. Actually, in the UK, you don't see many developments like the Bull Ring. That's very rare. There's only a couple of them, because they want to preserve the high streets and the integrity of the high street, and they're afraid if they build, like in the US, too many suburban malls, then the high streets will be at risk. And we've seen this here. We have a lot of urban city centers that have died out because of suburban development, and that's a concern. Japan, Ginza, high-end. The other thing, this is kind of interesting, and I do a lot of work in Japan, and I have a really good friend that's a fashion consultant, a merchandising consultant in New York City. And basically all of her research comes out of traveling around the world, major city streets, and watching the people on the street. And it informs her work, how they wear fashion, how they put it together. Are they buying collections and wearing collections, or how are they personalizing it? And it's this is kind of probably a more exaggerated version, but it really is very telling to see what's happening on the street. This is one of our projects in Japan, Osaka. Of course, one of the most famous shopping streets in the world. I've got a little bit of before and after on some of these. Regent Street, kind of a Baroque plan. I always love this. That if you've been into London and you see where the shops open out in front of you, the street kind of is coming to greet you. I love that serpentine plan. And that was yesterday and today. And again, this is a street that over time just continues to evolve and be updated by the retail, but it's still, it's historical, it's classic, but it continues to be relevant. LA. And you can see the design of the luxe brands and the high-end retail